Hey everyone, Nancy Ganzikofer here. Weekend Wind Down with Nancy. I'm a business coach helping creative entrepreneurs. So of course we get on 10 minutes early to try to make sure our audio is working, and you know how this goes, it's technology stuff. In the last minute we had a glitch. So hopefully as you guys start to come on, you'll be able to hear me. But today I am drinking. I don't think I can pronounce it, but I'll tell you what I'm drinking. I'll show it to you. Maybe somebody out there could pronounce it for me. Okay. And I hope this is working. Let me just double check to make sure we are on my business page live and we haven't had any other glitches before I bring my guest on. Yeah. Okay, I guess we're live. Boyfriend says he saved the day. Yeah, he stood next to me. I'm like, my audio's not working. All he did was stand next to me and suddenly it was working. Isn't that amazing? So, okay, that's what happens when you have a technological guru in your presence. So let me just do a quick share and then I will tell you guys a little bit about my week. It was a great week. Just let me know that, Don Corleone, let me know that you can see me and hear me okay while I share on my other, I'm going to go into my private group, Actionable Entrepreneurs. So if you guys aren't there, please join me there as well, where we strive to take action every day. And I'll do a quick share on my personal page as well, so that nobody misses it. So for you guys who are coming on, you know I used to do this on my personal page, and we had a huge viewership, at least to me, I thought it was huge. But then I switched it to my business page. So I'm kind of reminding people that I'm here. So this week I was home all week. The prior week I was in Savannah, Georgia for the IDS National Conference. I'm the president of the virtual chapter and a national board member, and that was great. But as you guys know, when you take off, kind of take off, I was still working, but take off a week, your calendar gets slammed. So I was in the process of bringing on another team member this week and catching up on my calendar. Had a lot of clients on the calendar too. Everyone's doing great this week. So I'm really excited today, besides it being weekend wind down, and I love my wine. So cheers to everybody. I hope you're enjoying whatever drink you're having. I want to introduce you to my guest, Veronica Solomon. I'm going to bring her on right now because I have a feeling, since her and I have never met in person, and we've actually never spoken with live words, even virtually. We always just message. So I'm really excited to bring her on. She's a rock star. She's an interior designer. She's an interior design mentor as well. And I want to hear all about her journey and what she does for interior designers today, as well as her own clients. So I'm going to bring her up to the broadcast. Does this countdown? 3, 2, 1. Ah, you're here.
Hello.
Hello. So you heard me, right? We planned on 10 minutes of a little get to know you before we go live, and we didn't have that because we had no audio.
Yes, that was a minor glitch that we overcame pretty quickly, right? Minor.
We did. And hi, Vivian. Hi, John. So yeah, people are starting to come on now. So as I was saying, I switched from my personal page, which everyone knew that I would be there every Friday at 4:30, to recently moving everyone over to my business page. So I usually go live on my personal page to remind everybody that I'm going to be here, but of course I forgot to do that as well. So anyway, tell everybody who you are and what you do, and then let's just get into it. I want to hear all about your journey and the business you have today.
All right. Well, Veronica Solomon. I'm a mom. I'm an interior designer. I'm a design mentor, and I'm a Jamaican. So my journey, where did it all start? Let's see. I moved here from Jamaica maybe 30 years ago, probably less than that. I lost track. And I had no idea what interior design was growing up in Jamaica. It wasn't something that was on my radar. I wanted to be a teacher, actually. Really? And a teacher. So it kind of ties into what I'm kind of doing now. So once I got here, I was hooked to HGTV back in the day when HGTV was a thing. And I lived in Florida for many years. And after I lost my husband to cancer, I decided to just move the kids here to Texas just to start over. It was better to raise kids here. And so when I got here, I really started focusing on finding work in the interior design field. I started school in Florida, but I didn't quite finish. And so I got laid off. The economy hit rock bottom. All those crazy things happened. And I ended up starting my own business right at the height of the economic downturn. And
wow.
So that meant, really hustling and trying to make a business work. And, I didn't know what I was doing. So I learned a lot from the mistakes I made. And then I just started to gather resources. And here I am today. So everything that I've learned, I decided that I was going to teach it to other younger designers coming up who are starting out like me. They didn't have anything, they didn't have anyone, and they just need some guidance and somebody to mentor them. So that's when my mentorship website started. That's when I started the group and really decided to give back.
You skipped over so many key things in your story, like as if they were, so then I did this and then I did that. I mean, those are some really traumatic things that you mentioned, huge life changes that you went through. And I'm so impressed that you just kept going through it.
Yeah. In fact, today, Facebook reminded me of a studio space. I just opened a studio space about 6, 7 months ago, probably. And I tried to do the same thing probably 6 or 7 years ago. And it didn't quite work out. It failed. And Facebook reminded me of that day when I signed the lease. And I grabbed thanks, Facebook. And I grabbed a girlfriend and I took her over there and showed her what I was about to do. And it was just this wonderful day. And, a picture of me, we're smiling and all happy. And it was great seeing that picture because it reminded me of my journey. That yes, and I'm sure mine isn't unique. Everybody goes through something to get where they are. But yeah, when you look back and realize that you can use those negative things or use those traumatic things for the better of your future and for your kids and for your business, it makes sense. It helps.
It does help. And you know what? Sometimes it drives you because you have no choice, right? I mean, I remember when my kids were young, all of them had some type of, I have 3 kids. My kids are 24, 22, and 18, and they all had some type of medical issue. My youngest son had open heart surgery when he was 5 days old and was quarantined for 2 years. And I remember people saying to me, like, I don't know how you do it. And I'm like, in the end, do you have a choice, right? You're a mom. You have to keep going. And it drives you to work harder, become more efficient. Doesn't it make you become more efficient because you're juggling so many things, right?
And I get that a lot. People ask me, Veronica, how do you do so much? And I think it's from the days because it's always been me and the kids. I mean, my son was only 2 years old when my husband died, and so he's 16 now. And so to raise 2 kids and juggle a schedule around their schedules and be in 2 different places sometimes is what it felt like. And so you got used to like managing your time properly and making sure that you're where you're supposed to be. And that just kind of carried over into my business. I know how to be efficient. I get up every day and I don't have any like formal written down plans really. I just know what needs to get done and I just do it because that's the only thing I know.
It's making me think of as you're talking, and I think I did this as well. You get to the point where you don't feel the pain. You just go through the
you just keep going.
Just keep going, right? I'm not going to feel the pain. I'm going to, yes, once in a while I crumbled. I did, but
that's the best way to describe it. Yep.
Yeah. And otherwise you just keep, and I think it does in a way, a lot of people go through adversity in their life in different forms, and you're either going to crumble with it and live in that pain forever, or you're going to come above it and just sort of ignore the pain and work your way through it. And it sounds like you did a lot of that.
Right. Yeah. Nobody ever promised anybody that life was great and it's going to be always wonderful. So you just have to take the good with the bad. And so, yes, I did a lot of that. And I look back and I am honestly really thankful that I went through some of the things I went through, because the lessons that I've learned, they've positioned me to be such a much better person. You really grow from some of those adversities, as you said.
Yeah, you really do. So how many years ago did you actually start? When was your first design job?
It was 11 years ago. So I got laid off.
That's it? I mean, that's not that long really in the realm of things.
Not long ago, right? Yeah, 11 years ago. And I just decided one day, because I got laid off, and it was this job. It was a home builder, a national home builder. And my goal was to work my way up into their design department so I could do the model homes. I was always intrigued by the model homes. And of course, I got laid off. I thought my job was indispensable. Let me tell you, I thought I could not, like, you know, because I knew they were laying off people, and I was just like, oh, they need me. And so when I got that pink slip, I was just like, what? So I got this little severance package, and I said, okay, I guess it's time to start a bit. Well, I started looking for work for about 6 months, couldn't find anything. And then I'm like, well, time to look for work, to start my business. And so I did, you know, took my little money and I went to LegalZoom and got all the necessary paperwork. And then I printed up some flyers on my computer, and I went door to door to all my neighbors. And I'm like, I'm starting a business, interior design. Some of them had been to my home and they could see that I was really creative. So it wasn't a hard sell. So I got hired by 2 of my neighbors, and I charged them $450 each for design fees. So I've definitely come along.
Don't tell that to anyone who's watching, any of the designers who are watching. That was how 11 years ago, and that was a big mistake. No, it actually wasn't, though, because it started you off.
Yeah, exactly. And then they referred me to 2 other, two of their friends. And so it just started spiraling from there. And I started building up clientele. But I didn't know what I didn't know. I was just still charging not enough. And the first couple of clients I was purchasing from retail, and till I figured out that's not the best way to do it. So you live and you learn. But, you know, I had to like go out there and hit the streets to really kickstart my business.
And where did you learn, like over the years, where did you find your best like mentors or supporters came from?
Believe it or not, a lot of them came from outside of the design industry. So as far as my design background and the knowledge and so on, I started school and I didn't finish. I dropped out when my husband died. And then HGTV, like I mentioned before, it was really a course of knowledge. I mean, they actually taught you how to do things. I bought lots of books, and then I did an online course, and so I learned my design background that way. But as far as mentorship, I would listen to like people like Dave Ramsey and Sandy Krakowski and Danny Johnson. And so I learned some of the business skills that I kind of needed to start. It was kind of fragmented because it wasn't like all together. And then I met Kimberly Seldon, and that kind of just, it was like the glue that brought it all together, and everything just started making sense from that point on.
That's fantastic. How many years ago? So Kimberly is a coach as well, right? So how many years ago did you reach out to her?
I think it was 4 years ago. I actually met her at High Point Market. I just sat in on one of her talks at High Point. In fact, I didn't plan on going to, because I didn't know who she was. I just sat there because they were feeding us, and I was just like, oh, food. And so I went in and listened to this woman speak, and I was just like, where was she all my life? And so I think that was about 4 years ago. And that's when my business just really started taking a turn for the better.
That's incredible. You know, it shows the importance of, at some point in your career, if you're lost and you're driving, I always say, if you're driving around in circles and you're not getting anywhere, or you're going very slowly and you need to in your life and want to in your life bump up faster, the importance of getting a coach or a mentor to help you get to that next level.
That's absolutely true. And I immediately joined her group, and I was doing like the monthly thing and just kind of learning as much as I could from her, bought her books, and I was studying those things like they were a journal. Like, okay, everything that I knew from there, I just started to apply everything that I was learning. And so, yes, definitely, if you cannot find you where you're struggling, there's help out there. I mean, more so than it was, 5-10 years ago when I started, because I looked around 5-10 years ago, and I'm sure there were coaches, but I couldn't afford, a $300 an hour coach. But I mean, there are different levels now that are available. And I think it's so important that designers realize that, or creatives realize that.
Especially because the market's changing so fast too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a whole, right, from when you started. So I started 15 years ago as an art consultant. Actually, now it's 18 years ago. So it's a whole story. I won't bore everyone because most people who are watching probably know the story, but I became an art consultant and framing and then accessories. And I ran that business for 15 years here in the New York tri-state area. And I was the art consultant for many of the interior designers. So that's how I got into this field. And when I realized, not really decided, that it's a landscaper right outside my window right now, of course. So when I realized that interior designers were my ideal market, I that's when I went to the Interior Design Society local chapter and got involved and became the vice president and president. Excuse me. Now I'm a national board member and I'm the president of the virtual chapter. And that's how I got into this whole world. And, you know, prior to that, it was all business. So a couple of businesses that I had run myself and my corporate background. And it's such a hard business for, I mean, you guys do your interior design side, you do so much. There's so much to juggle to run an interior design business that it's really crazy. And sometimes you need some guidance for the side that you don't maybe feel like you do well, or you don't have time to learn it yourself.
Right. And the unfortunate thing sometimes is that the money part usually is the part that gets left behind. We're so focused on the creative side and, you know, we can just do that because it oozes from us, you know, and so we forget, you know, bookkeeping. I used to hate doing bookkeeping. I can tell you that. And so I avoid doing my books. And then 3 months down the line, I realized like, oh, I didn't bill that client for something, you know, that had to, you know, because it was like, I'm running a business here. I need to collect my money. And so I had to get to a point where, okay, I need help with doing my bookkeeping and get help with how to be profitable. That was the biggest thing for me because I was working really, really hard. I was doing everything right. I had great clients. My customer service background was on point. I mean, my customer service was on point because that's my background. And so I was just wondering, like, why am I not making money if I'm working so hard? And my kids they were hardly seeing me. So I had to make a change there.
Yeah, and I think if a day goes by that I don't pick up my calculator and show a client, if you give up 1 hour of your time once a week times 50 weeks a year, look how much you're giving up in your bottom line by the end of the year. And really, you probably give up 2 or 3 hours, and I do that calculation, and they look at me like, oh my God, like that adds up so fast. Let me just say hello to a couple of people. Guys, if you find this to be valuable, please share. Veronica and I would love to reach more people and teach more people how to run a profitable business. Hi, PJ. Hi, John. Oh, Veronica, do you know John Tedesco?
No, I don't.
All right, John, you need to have Veronica on your show. He has a show right after mine. So Joe Hecker had taught me how to do the Facebook Live, although I don't do it the way he originally taught me, doing it from my phone, the dual Facebook Live. I do it this way. And then I taught John, and now we all have this like growing community. So John has a show right after me. So let me just see. Yeah, see, John loves your passion and your determination. Hey, Elizabeth. So anyway, so let's talk about now, do you still take on interior design clients as well as mentor other interior designers?
Yeah, absolutely. My interior design business is probably going to forever be my bread and butter business because I enjoy working with my my mentees as well, but that's always going to be my business. And so right now I have a full book of business actually, but I still take on mentoring clients, and, you know, I do like 1 hour mentoring sessions. I have a membership group as well that they can go into and on a monthly basis, and they can get all kinds of access to resources and documents and files and all that I share with them. And of course, I have a store that sells, you know, some of my contracts and documents that I use every day in my own business as well. So it's ongoing as well, but I definitely run my interior design business.
It's valuable, right? You're giving copies of what you use over the years in your business itself. That's hugely valuable. For your mentor clients, what do you feel like is the top issue for them? Because I know what the top issue is from the ones that I coach.
Honestly, I get a lot of, I don't have a good process in place. And because of that, I'm not making profits. I feel like I'm just spinning my wheels. So I get that a lot where they feel like they don't have it all together. They may have bits and pieces that they're learning from all over the place, and they just need to bring it all together. And I remember that's where I was. And that's why I call myself a mentor, because I feel like I'm kind of in the trenches with them too. And, you know, I went through what they're going through right now, and I just have a little bit more experience that I can share and what not to do and to share as well. And so that's really what I hear a lot, is just like, I'm not sure where to start or where to go next with my business.
Yeah, and it's a lot. I find it's a lot related to their confidence and their money story from the past, like how they grew up and how they feel guilty charging people for what they do. And, you know, when you and I explain to them that you're just not the person standing there at the moment, your accumulation of all your schooling, all your visits to marketing. Debbie's driving by my house right now. Hi, Debbie. She's yeah, you have a huge rocking group. Tell everybody what my group's up to about 1,000 people. It's actionable entrepreneurs. If you guys aren't in there, get in there. I go live every day, and I'm really all about taking action every day to make sure, kind of like Veronica and I said about, 10 minutes ago, driving through the pain of growing your business and just getting it done and not getting all locked up about so many things that could lock you up. That's what I focus on in my group, trying to keep everyone motivated and focused. Listening to this wind down in my iTunes live right through my phone. Very nice. Okay. Didn't know you can do that. John's show was not today. It was yesterday, but it's usually on Fridays, but he must have been traveling. So I can look out for that. Yes, you want to look out for that. And John, you should reach out to Veronica because she should be on your show. Okay, so tell everyone your name of your group. It's so active in there.
Yeah, it's called What They Don't Teach You in Design School.
How perfect is that?
We're up to about 25. I know, right? Simple enough, right? And it's true. We really talk about the things that they don't teach you in design school. Just the processes to running a business, and how to make money, and how to deal with clients. Client relations is the biggest thing, and the confidence, as you mentioned earlier. So we're up to about 2,500 members right now. We're a highly active group. Yeah, I'm really proud.
Yeah, you should be proud of it. I noticed they're in there. They ask for resources. They ask if they're stuck on the design process itself. They're asking questions, which is great because they're all supporting each other, which is really what you want a group to do.
Yeah. It's sometimes I get really busy and I cannot be in the group that day. I'll kind of check in and just briefly go over things, and I just see people just taking care of each other, and it's so. I mean, sometimes I'm just I feel like a mama eagle, and my babies are flying. It's just this good feeling that it's amazing to bring people together like that, and they see so much value. They're getting something, and because they're getting something, they're so willing to share something. And so that's always what I wanted from the group. In fact, when I first started the group, I remember making this huge announcement. Okay, I'm starting this group, and I want it to be a small group, tight knit, so we can all share, and we can all make sure nobody gets left behind. And I had no idea. I'm thinking 200 people, no idea that it would get to 2,500 in a year. So it's been amazing to watch that.
It is, and it's hard. It's harder than people think to manage a group. I've recently, I'm very impressed because I closed Expressive Living 8 months ago for a couple of reasons, right? One, I did it for 15 years, and basically we were the schleppers carrying 500 pieces of artwork into people's homes, framing cases, selecting the framing on premise, and then we had a whole accessory service. Next door to this room is a whole accessory showroom, which still has a lot of stuff in it. So if anyone's from Long Island and you need to shop, come to me. That's why these walls behind me are carpeted walls, because I used to have frame corners. It was like a little framing shop.
Yeah.
But I thought, I'm 53 now, and I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to work from my computer. And really, when I thought about what I love to do, I love to grow businesses. And that's why I called myself your business partner, right? Because I can partner while I'm in that coaching time with my clients. I really partner with them to help them figure out where they were meant to be. What is their specialty? What is their voice? How can they find their ideal client? How can they become profitable? And I love doing that. So I would have trouble. I was balking at my employees from Expressive Living because I was working so hard growing the coaching business. I was finding I wasn't being a nice person on the other side. So I thought, it's time to close it.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, going back to what you said, it's really just about caring about people and just caring about what they care about too. And I think that's a prerequisite for being a coach, that you really have to value what other people value. And so, when you sit down with somebody, it's just I'm going to partner with you and figure out what's going on. So together we can figure it out. But yes, you have to at some point find what's right for you. And it sounds like for you, it was focusing on the coaching side of your business.
Yeah, because I get to grow everybody's business who comes to me. It's it's like closing and shutting down a new business every time I take on a new client, right? It's really a high for me. It's really silly, but I when I was younger, I got in trouble for talking too much in school. Every report card.
Really?
Oh my God, you have no idea. If Nancy would just stop talking, she would be a straight A student, and I wasn't. I was like a C student. And then my mother and father would say, stop talking. And if my sister is still on, she'll tell you, hi, Christine. Hi, Kay. She'll tell you that I never stopped talking, and I still never stop talking. So the fact that I talk for a living now is actually really funny to my parents.
Yeah, that's a good thing. So you've definitely found your niche.
You know what? It's my wheelhouse. it's really my wheelhouse. Right. So I'm impressed that you can balance both things, because I had trouble doing that, and I wish I could have, because expressive living was great. Hi, Joy. It was profitable. It was. I had 2 employees that I didn't want to let go. So. How many employees do you have to run this whole thing? Or please don't tell me you do it all yourself.
I don't have any employees. I have my support. I have a support team.
Okay.
So I have my bookkeeper. I have a bookkeeper that does my books, but it's still both of us doing it. We meet once a week, and I still enter all my invoices and all my purchase orders. So it's not like I just let her go at it. I also have somebody that does all my renderings now, so I don't touch that anymore. Okay. And I have, of course, people, my carpenter and all that, and meet with me with clients and things like that. But I don't have an employee in the office. It's time though. It's time, and I've been looking now for about 4 months for someone to help me out in the office here. But yes, I just, like I mentioned earlier, I just have gotten really, really good. And people think that people wonder, like, do you sleep? I'm like, actually I do. I get up like at 10 o'clock in the morning.
What time do you get up?
Well, okay, so my schedule, my routine has changed since I just moved into a new home. And so there's no school bus to pick up my son any longer. So now I have to take him to school, and it's right across from my office. So now I just come into the office early morning after I drop him off at school. But before, I'd get up, get him out the door, and then go back to bed at 6:30 or so. And then I'd get up at 9:30.
Oh, no.
And that is like, it's so weird. My body got used to that, and now I'm like missing that. So I'm like, you're taking the bus next year. We're moving. You're moving schools.
Well,
so,
he's going to be driving soon.
I know he's going to be driving. I don't have time to take him out driving. And so that's what suffers sometimes. The personal part, because I know my kids, they're little troopers. My daughter, she's 21. She just turned 21. Yay. And away in Florida. And so my kids, they've always been very independent. If I didn't have independent kids and like really good kids, I couldn't have done this all these years. And so that's what's, sometimes, I don't get to take the kids to the museum or whatever. And they got it because they knew that I had to go hustle and feed them. So there were some trade-offs definitely along the way. But yeah, I just find a way to make it work and juggle my schedule and know what needs to get done. And right now I'm remodeling a house too. So all of that is in the mix.
Yeah. And I'm going to challenge your word trade-offs, because I'm a couple of years ahead of you, not many, right? You have a 21-year-old, I have a 24, like I said, 22 and 18. And I always worked when they were growing up. And there was a tremendous amount of guilt at times, right? I thought, I'm not spending enough time with them. Or like you said, I'm not personally taking them out driving. I'm hiring the driving school. I suggest, could you take them out? So guilt creep. You know what? At this stage now, I even brought my laundry in last week, to a laundromat, which I do only when I'm extremely stressed and had been away, and I come back and I'm like, oh my God. But all my kids now have an incredible business sense. And I always say, like, kids are kids, they're kids, and then they turn into aliens, and then they grow up.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And as they're growing up, one by one, my son, my oldest, works for me. And as of this morning, my 22-year-old took over my Instagram because she's like, what are you doing, Mom? I'm like, I grew it to 5,000 people. I thought that was good. But she's like, yeah, you need to change this up. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Could you do it for me? So she's kind of, interning with me, so to speak. And she will probably end up with her own business. My son already has his own digital marketing agency. But they all started with me. And it's because they saw their father and I both having businesses and the struggles, and when things went bad, how we just drove through it. And I feel like, you know, some of it you're born with, and some of it you really just absorb being around a person. So your kids are absorbing it from you.
Absolutely. My daughter, I've never heard her once talk about working for someone. She's always talked about running a business. She's an artist. She paints, and she's studying hospitality management. And so she's already, when was it? About 3 months ago, she calls me up and she's like, "Mom, tell me about interior design program. I want to join an interior design program." I've always wanted her to get into interior design, and it was always like, no way. I guess she kind of struggles over the years, you know. And then all of a sudden, she has some interest in it, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And so she's thinking about starting some kind of agency at some point in the future that focuses on all creatives, so photographers and musicians and stuff, and kind of bring them all together. And she was explaining to me, I was just like, okay, good luck. But I mean, that's her dream, to do that. And I know she will do it, because she's always been a hard worker, and she goes after what she wants. My son is really into video games, but I think that's just,
listen, that's a big industry now.
Oh my gosh, yes. He used to record himself, like giving tips and gaming advice and stuff. So he used to have a YouTube channel. I don't see him doing that very much anymore, but you can tell that he's interested in the business side of it too. So who knows? Who knows where that will go?
You ever listen to Gary V?
Gary V, yes.
Okay, Gary V did this. I don't know where it is. I just came across it and I was watching it. And he talks about how, hey, parents, your kids who are into gaming, like, don't in his words, not in mine, he was crazier than me, but don't poo-poo that. There's a huge industry in gaming, and that's so hard to imagine. Like, none of my kids ever got into gaming, but a lot of my friends' kids did and do still. And if they do it right, there's huge money to be made there.
Oh, absolutely, there is. And in fact, I'm kind of trying to figure out ways to send him to some kind of camp that deals with, you know, developing games and things like that, because he's really, really into it. Because yeah, you're right. It's a big business now, and you can make money doing it. So why not, like, kind of really help them with whatever they're strong at. Like in school, my son is not the strongest in school, and you get the little emails from the teachers every once in a while. Well, your son is.
Does he talk too much?
No, he doesn't actually. But yeah, I get a little emails every once in a while. I'm like, oh, let me open this email now and see what this is about. But you know, I had to tell a teacher one time, I'm like, you know what? He's probably not going to be Einstein, but this is what I think he's going to be, and I'm going to nurture that. I'm going to inspire him to keep doing that. I'm not going to tell him he needs to stop. So you're absolutely right. I'm not going to poo-poo on his dreams. You know.
You know, I was saying to my daughter last night, you're such a good photographer. Like, you know, proud mom, you won all these photography awards in high school, and you can see you have an eye for it. And I was actually trying to encourage her to go into interior design at some point in the last 4 years. And yeah, she was like, no way, no way, no way. And now that she's graduating next week, she's graduating college next week, and she really, my dog walking, it's the landscapers. She really pushed herself through college. Like, come hell or high water, I'm graduating, and she, you know, it's tough for her. She works really hard just to get through it. She doesn't like it, and you know what? I didn't like it either. I hated college. I told my mother, this is a funny story. So I worked for Roy Rogers. I was a cowgirl.
Oh wow.
For 3.5 years, 2.5. Oh my God, I had the hat and the little skirt. Okay, I'm waiting for the comments to come in on that one. I had a boyfriend who worked at Roy Rogers too. And when it came to, hi Ian, when it came to going to college, I was the third girl. And I'm like, I'm not going to college.
Yeah.
And my mother's like, what? Like, you have to go to college. My mother worked at Adelphi. She purposely went and worked at a college before we needed to go, so that it would be partially or fully paid for. Right. Yeah. So she gave up her stay-at-home momdom to go and make sure we got college for free. And I'm saying, oh, thanks, Viv. That's my sister. She said, such a cute outfit. She didn't work at Roy Rogers. My other sister, Diane, and I worked at Roy Rogers. So anyway, I digress. I was a cowgirl, and when I was graduating high school, they told me they wanted me to go into the management training program. And guess how much they paid?
How much?
$10 an hour.
Wow.
Yeah, and I won't tell you, this is many moons ago, right? 1983, and I went to my parents and I'm like, I don't need to go to college. I can make $10 an hour in the management training program. And that is huge amount of money because I had been working since I was 11 or 12 because I'm a workaholic. I love to work. And they're looking at me like, honey, you have no idea how much life costs.
Okay. $10 ain't gonna get you very far, okay?
Yeah. And they basically begged or bribed, I can't remember, and said, just do one semester.
Mm-hmm.
Do one semester. Yeah. We get it for free for you. You're the third kid. I've been working there 10 years. My mother said, I get it for free. And I'm like, fine. So, I followed my sisters into Adelphi and then, joined a sorority, met a guy, and it was like, hey, maybe I'll stay because I had a social life.
I think that's what they were counting on, right?
That's what I was counting on. So yeah, whatever keeps you in school, if you can stay in school, it's a benefit. And my daughter too, I wasn't a student. I didn't like school at all. I liked the social life. And then thank God I went to some people don't finish. My oldest didn't finish completely. I just think it gets you around people and other personalities. So it's really important when it comes to someday, if you want to own a business, it gets you really knowledgeable about how to deal with all kinds of personalities. That to me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah. Because you have connections too, because a lot of times you can kind of tap into those connections from your college days, so that kind of helps you when you're venturing out into business. So I think it's important to do that. I mean, for my kids, their colleges were paid for too when they were little babies, so they have to go. They better go. So whether they want to or not. So
that's what my mother said to me.
Yeah, you're going to college.
Whether you want to or not, you're going to college. And I was one of those, I am not, and you can't make me. But I guess they kind of made me. But you know what? It's always smart to get as much education as you can. I still am a lifelong learner. Do you do the same thing? Do you do Audible books on tape, or do you listen to podcasts? Like, what do you do to keep yourself?
Oh, yeah. I'm always learning something. In fact, I've committed my life to learning always. And I think it came because I did drop out of college. And I felt that I didn't want to go back to college because I didn't want to get into debt. Now that I was a single mom of 2 kids, I was just like $80,000 in debt, feeding the kids. I kind of chose the latter. But I think I felt like I was lacking in that area. And so I made up for it by educating myself. So I was always studying some kind of book, or I'd buy actually interior design textbooks and teach myself interior design. And then I did that online course. And of course, I'm always buying books. I don't do audibles. I should start doing that. But it's always buying.
I fall asleep if I start to.
I know.
But I don't sleep much. Like I'm usually a 6-hour a night sleeper, but lately it's been like 4.5, 5 hours where my body just wakes up. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm a lucky one. Like I know people who absolutely need 8, 9, 10 hours of sleep, and that's not me. I would like 6 though. That makes me happy. But for some reason, I've been waking up early.
I'm 6. Yeah, I'm a 6.
You're 6. You need 6 hours.
I need 6 hours. Yes. If I don't get those 6 hours, my body will totally warn me you need to get back to bed now. So yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get 6 hours last night, and at 1 o'clock, I'm sitting at my desk, and I try to keep Fridays free to talk to create content, catch up on my inbox, all other kinds of stuff, touch base with my virtual assistants because I do have them. And at 1 o'clock, I'm sitting at my desk, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to fall asleep. And I had a 2 o'clock meeting. I'm like, maybe I'll just go down on the couch and lay down for 15 minutes. But can you 15-minute power nap? I can 15-minute power nap.
I don't do those. I don't power nap. I really have to get like a good long, at least a couple of hours.
Really?
50, yeah, that just teases me for no reason. No, I don't.
So you know what I'd love you to talk about for interior designers specifically, the benefit of sourcing that high quality furniture they can get through their own resources for their clients.
I mean, it just sets you apart. In fact, I send out emails to my group to my who signed up for my email list. That is,
I think I'm on there now.
You're on there now, yay! Every Monday and every Friday. And I think today I talked about some of the things that confuses consumers, why they don't expect to pay high fees, because we're kind of doing it the same way consumers do it. So if you're running out to Pottery Barn and buying furniture, just like any consumer can, they're going to start questioning why are they paying you for, you know, sourcing furniture. And so I think it's so important that we set ourselves apart, first of all, and go to the exclusive sources, unique, as custom as you possibly can, because we're designers. Our goal is to always bring in custom as much as possible. Yes, we don't always do custom just because, you know, the case goods are already made and we just order one or two or whatever we need. But I always try to do custom first. And of course, when you do custom, you get to add layers to it. You get to add the specific pieces you want. And yes, it adds to the cost, but the client is the only one who owns that. So I think that's what we should go for first and set ourselves apart from the way consumers shop so they see our value.
Yeah, because otherwise you're a personal shopper. And that's okay if that's one of your ladder of services that people want. Like if you want, I always say, what do you love to do for your clients? And then you just have to price it appropriately. And some people don't, they don't mind that. They want to shop with their clients. They want to go to local stores. So then they just have to price it, though, still with their value of what that brings, their eye, their experience, their creativity, all that gets, it's not just you're worth $50 for standing there in the store with them. It's all that got you there and all your education and all your creativity.
Right. And I'm all for designers really figuring out who they are. And no matter what it is, it could be, okay, I just want to be able to go shopping with clients and take them to a store and do that. And just like you mentioned, if that's what you really enjoy doing and that's who you want to be in business, that's okay. But now you got to build a business around it. You got to make it a profitable business and find a way to do that. What I find is happening is that designers are just going to do that because they don't want to do the research necessarily. They don't want to be bothered with setting up the right processes and things like that. So they kind of just resort back to that because that's how they shop for themselves. When, it just takes a little bit more effort to really see how it's done. So yes, if you want to be an e-designer and you source retail, because I do that, I do e-designs and I have to source retail. So nothing against sourcing retail. I just know that that's not where my money is. And so I make sure that I'm specifying the high end and the great quality pieces as well for my full service projects. So just whatever you want to be, just be that, but be profitable and not just run to that just because it's the easy way out.
I agree. And when you first started sourcing, wait, I want to see people are commenting. Oh, guys, don't forget to share this broadcast. If you feel it's valuable to some of the people on your email or on your Facebook pages, other designers and business owners, please share. And there goes the dog barking again. Heather once said, I want to know where I can get deck labels.
Oh, deck labels. I got a source. I went to TCS. I don't know, Heather, do you have TCS as a resource for upholstery? I did a factory tour there and they gave me the name of a company that does deck labels and I can't remember now. I think they're actually called deck labels, but I don't remember. So that's a great, at least try contacting somebody at TCS and they will direct you, I think.
Perfect. So, okay. So to go back to when you first decided to go and change from retail to mostly designer resources, did you go to market?
Yeah. Well, I never really did the retail thing. I did it for maybe the first 2 clients ever. In the 11 years I've been in business, I only did it maybe 1 or 2 times. Sometimes now, like I do a little bit of retail, like if I have to go out and get some like little fillers for bookshelves. So it's not like I'm totally saying retail is a bad thing. That's not what I'll ever source for my entire projects. Yes, but I did go to market. I remember the first time I went to market, I scraped together every last dollar that I could and scrimped and saved. I stayed at a Motel 6. I'm pretty sure I saw some cockroaches.
Oh my God, I have a story about that too. That's just some of those places outside are disgusting.
Yeah, it was so gross. But I figured, I'm not spending much time there. I'm going to be at market most of the day. And I ate at market. I didn't have to buy food. But I decided that I'm going to go. I need to experience this because I felt like my business needed it. And amazing. I came back, I wanted to sell everything to everybody. And so that kind of, oh gosh, the inspiration and the drive that you get from just going and experiencing all of these beautiful products and seeing them firsthand, it was second to none. I would highly recommend any new designer, find that money and go even just one time and see for yourself. It really inspires you.
It really does. I mean, as an art consultant, once I stopped taking on just my mother's work, and then I started getting other local artists, and I'm like, okay, let me go to Art Expo New York and get actual art companies resources where they have artists on staff. And then I went further when I started to have accessories. I went to market, and I did go last minute as well. And there's a designer here on Long Island. She wanted to go last minute. So we booked this motel, barely a motel. And when we got there, the taxi driver actually didn't want to drop us off. He felt bad. He's like, ladies, you don't really want to stay here. And we're like, well, there's no place else available. So when I tell you, I'm not even kidding. If Lisa listens to this broadcast, she'll attest, because we went together. I think it was an hourly motel, Veronica.
Oh my goodness. You know the activities that happened there.
Oh, we were like, ew. It was disgusting. And we're like, how are we even going to sleep here? But anyway, when I got to market, I was like, wow, this is beautiful. It's overwhelming. I couldn't even spend enough days there. I mean, it's a whole town in the Carolinas, but I go to Vegas markets because that's where my parents live. Mm-hmm. So I get to visit them and go there, and it's still beautiful, but I feel like somehow it's more manageable.
Yeah, it is. I've been to Vegas. I actually have only been there once, and the three buildings are connected, and so it's just easy to walk across. So by far, I love the pavilion too, though, where you see those smaller vendors. I love that. Yes. But yeah, High Point, I don't think I've ever visited every single vendor that I've set out to visit. Way. Absolutely no way. And I mean, this past market, I mean, I was like on panels and things like that, so I didn't get to do a lot of the things that I wanted to. And of course, I go with my roommate. We've been rooming now for like the last 4 or 5 markets, and so sometimes I end up dragging her to where I want to go, and vice versa. So sometimes we miss some of the things we want to see. But I mean, no matter where you turn, though, there's inspiration everywhere. I mean, you happen upon a showroom that you never heard of before, or you go visit some of the ones that you're very familiar with and just see beautiful new products. It's a designer's mecca. I love it.
It is a designer's mecca, and my iPhone blew up. I'm like, take a picture of the place I'm walking into, then take a picture of everything. I wanted to buy, and I have this rule: don't buy on the spot. Don't buy on the spot, because emotion kicks in, and you just want to buy everything.
Yeah, I typically don't shop at market. And it's the reason why I don't is because of the margin for errors there. Because, I mean, these reps are so busy taking orders. I'm like, somebody's going to make a mistake. So what I do, I just kind of source things while I'm there. And then I come back and I do my purchase orders that way. So I really don't shop at market for the most part. I have done it, though.
They give such good discounts. They try to suck you in. They're great salespeople, some of them. But really, it's all about the food and the drink that they serve you going from showroom to showroom to showroom.
Oh my goodness, it's amazing. I mean, I'm not a big drinker, and that's at market. I'm drinking all the time. Like I'm like 3 glasses of wine later, some margarita over here. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. And yeah, I think I'm going to Vegas. I'm going to Vegas this year. I might be speaking there, and I get to visit my mother. And she's like, "Can you stay an extra day for my birthday?" I'm like, "Of course, I'm going to stay an extra day for your birthday." So that. She'll be, I better not get this wrong. Hold on.
Oh my God.
My mother will be 81 I think on August 3rd. And she is having some medical burps lately. So she's kind of miserable right now, but she's doing great. She looks 20 years younger than she is, but apparently her insides are exactly the age they're supposed to be. It's always about the outside. My mother was always one of these people, and if she's going to listen, sorry, Mom, but my mother was the type who never went out of the house without makeup.
Yeah. It's like my mom too. I mean, she was just like really into that. I didn't get that gene, but she was. Yeah.
She's amazed by her daughters who go around with no makeup, hair in a ponytail, in their workout clothes. We'll go to the store, the pharmacy. I'll go live like that. And she's like, you need your lipstick on, kind of thing. And you need to have your hair done. And I'm like, no, it's really not going to work for me. I don't know. I'm kind of past that. I try to do my hair for weekend wind down, but other than that, it's not always so
I did
good.
mine for you too, actually. Usually it's all over the place.
And I know you're not drinking wine, but what are you drinking?
I'm drinking water.
Oh, so you're hydrating. What time is it there in Texas?
It is. Oh my gosh, I'm an hour behind you. Behind you? Yes.
So it's 5:21 now.
Okay. So 4:21. Right, hear that?
Cheers with your water. I'm going to cheers with my wine. Thank you so much. I want to give everyone. We have a couple of minutes left. I want to make sure they know where to find you and what you have for them. And did Heather ever answer? I don't know if Heather ever answered that. She got your comment about where to get the deck labels. Oh yeah, she also comments she needs a month to wade through the podcast. Oh, this is one thing. Podcasts are fabulous. Mm-hmm. And especially Luann's. Love Luann's. I've been on there a couple of times, but it's so much information sometimes that I think it sends people's brains, not Luann's in particular, but everyone listens to so many.
Right. I mean, I do. And I try to fit them in when I'm driving or something like that. But honestly, my drive time a lot of times is me being in my own head and thinking. And, I talk to myself a lot. You pull up to the light and you pretend like you weren't talking to yourself. You were singing or something. I do that a lot. These days, I kind of pretend I was on my phone or something now. But yeah, so when I'm in the car, I don't always listen to music or to podcasts or anything. But I try to. Luann's is so valuable to me because I learned so. Oh my goodness. And I listened to Rachel and Dixie. I know they were on your show recently, so I listened to that a lot. And I know a friend of mine's, she's in my group, Michelle. She's starting her own podcast. So I'm probably going to be listening to that because she's so
Who's that?
Her name is Michelle Bennett, and she's in my group. And she's starting a podcast. I'm her first guest. And of course,
fun.
And I listen to Kimberly Seldon's every chance I get as well too. So I try to keep it to about 4 or 5 main ones that I really find value in, because otherwise I'd be listening to podcasts all day long.
All day long. I mean, I cut out a lot of TV time to replace it with books on tape and Audible and then the podcast, but I can't even keep up anymore.
Yeah, it's hard to. It really is. But I think it's important to just kind of find the ones that, because each podcast, I think they focus on something. Luann's, for example, focuses on the business side. Dixie and Rachel's focus on visibility. So just find what you need at the time you need it, focus on that one, and then move on. When you've grown from there, you move on to something else. Right.
And Luann turned me on to a speaking podcast because I'm getting speaking engagements now. So I'm like, okay, let me start listening to more speaker podcasts. So it's like, oh, it could just bury you. The thing about Audible, which I don't think I've found a podcast yet that has this option, but maybe the girl who's starting, I don't know who would do this, but I listen to my Audible books on tape at 1.5 speed.
Oh, wow. So that's fast?
Yeah. And when you go back to 1.0, they seem like they're talking so slow that you get bored. So I tried to go up to 2.0. Yeah. I think my blood pressure was going up, so I had to go back.
Yeah, I mean, that's not normal at all. I talk fast, so I listen fast too. And so when people talk slow, really, I'm just like, come on, get it out. I really, I'm more the fast talker too.
Do you source fast when you're doing an interior design job?
Oh,
because with artwork, I used to be like, zoom, 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 zoom. And people be like, how do you even see? I'm like, I can see everything.
Yeah, it's like, for me, honestly, sometimes, and I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, but it just all comes together. It's like the rooms design themselves these days. So I'm like, it's very important to me to have my own resources right in front of me. I don't run out to design centers and, I jump on my computer to look for stuff. So I source very, very fast. And the main thing for me that I know a lot of designers struggle with is that they have 10 choices of the same thing, or they're unsure of this, or will the client like this? I'm just picking one, and this is what the client's getting. You know, it's the best one for them, and it usually is the best one for them. So I don't labor, you know, worry about things like that. I just pick the best option for my clients.
I did have a client who I said, you know what, you're striving for excellence, not perfection, because she couldn't stop. There's actually a few people I've worked with. They just couldn't stop. They felt like, well, I'm getting paid to make sure that what I go through every single one of my resources and it's perfect. I'm like, first of all, nothing's perfect. And how often is it usually the first one you chose originally? And they looked at me like, exactly.
Every single time.
It's about that confidence and trusting your gut that you're good at what you do. And the first thing you're picking is probably going to be the choice you end up with and the client loves.
Yeah. I think a lot of times it's because, you know, the first choice is like the priciest, or it's really expensive. And then designers kind of look at that. I'm like, uh-oh, the client's not going to pay for that. Let me go rethink this. And I'm like, why are you doing that? You're spending more time to make less money. Just show it to the client. They'll buy it.
Exactly. I mean,
they
get excited.
Yeah. So just show it to them, and trust me, they always buy the best thing. So go for it.
Go for it. And everything, go for it. So, okay, tell everyone where to find you.
Okay, so my group is called What They Don't Teach You in Design School, my Facebook group. And you can also find me at veronicasolomon.design. That's my mentoring website. And my membership website is veronicasolomonuniversity.com. So
hi, Claire. Claire just came on. Hi, Claire. Hi, okay, so they can find you in all those places. And like I said, your group is extremely active. My group, Actionable Entrepreneurs, we're getting there. We hit 1,000 people the other day, so I was really excited. But it's definitely different from yours in, I don't know what respect yet. I haven't looked that closely, but I'm just basically all about build your business, take action every day. Don't let anxiety and fear hold you back. And make sure that you're looking at your whole business as a business, not as a hobby, and not as a, somebody who just serves all your friends and family, right? You work too hard. You work too hard to do that.
Yeah. Take it seriously, for sure.
Take it seriously, for sure. So, well, it was so nice to meet you.
You too, Nancy. Oh my gosh. It was long overdue though.
It was long overdue. I know. And, you know, what people don't realize is that most of the coaches, if not, 90% of them, at least for me, are friends on Facebook, and we support each other. We all have a different voice, a different way of delivering our information. And I don't believe in competition. I believe in collaboration. And if some of my audience connects with your voice and your message, and some of your audience connects with my voice and message, then that's where they should be in order to help them become more profitable. And that's really what it's all about.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I have relationships with all, Claire and Dixie and Rachel. I mean, it's just wonderful. We look out for each other. We care about each other's groups. And it's just a wonderful thing to know that you have this community online. And we take it offline too. We meet up at markets and things like that. So it's amazing.
I haven't been to a market in a while. I decided this past year or two, actually, I was not going to travel. I was going to stay focused. And now I'm going into a travel year. So hopefully I'll get to meet you guys in person. I've met Luann. I don't think I've met. I saw Claire at the Lunch and Learn. I'm doing Luann's next Lunch and Learn.
You are? What are you talking about?
I'm actually talking about, what am I talking about at Luann's? I'm going to go over the profit puzzle. It's a formula that I came up with, that if you have all the pieces of your profit puzzle in place, your business should be booming. And it's behind each of the puzzle pieces are exercises, which obviously I won't be going over all the exercises, but I want people to focus on their business, working on your business, not just in your business all the time. Is really hard to do, even when you get busy, right? Even when you get busy. And that's where sometimes you need to take on some assistance to help with something that's taking up too much of your time, so that you can start focusing on building your business, right? So
money maker, right?
Right.
Absolutely. All right. I'll look out for that.
Okay, good. Yeah, we'll be broadcasting it live. Luann always broadcasts it live on Facebook. I watched a lot of Claire's, and and it was very good. And Claire, you went, I don't think I can go as long as you, Claire. That was long for me. Right? She gave so much fabulous information. The people who attended and watched that on Luann's page are going to get a ton of knowledge. And I think I realized something else, totally off the beaten track. I think Claire and I are the same height.
Are you really? I know that Claire is on the shorter side, so I thought you were tall. I don't know. I'm telling you, you see each other on the screens, and you automatically assume how tall somebody is. And I thought you were like 5'8" or something.
Oh my God, no! I am 5'1.5", and I say 5'1". And when I went to Luann's Claire said, "Oh my God, I went so long." When I went to Luann's anniversary party at the podcast, a lot of my clients were going to be there. And here I was going, just so you know, I'm really short. Just so you know, I'm really short. Because I felt like I was, see, I got a half an inch on you, Claire. But I'm a shoe person. Oh, stop it, Richie. Richie said I'm 5 feet with heels on. That's not true. That's my boyfriend. No, I like to wear 2 or 3-inch heels all the time.
You're making it in the heels. Okay. Yeah. Maybe that's why I thought you were taller. I don't know.
I just have this big shoulder personality on Facebook, right? But no, I'm short.
Personality, yes.
Yes. My sister said I wish I was 5'8". So Leslie and Claire, Elizabeth saying hi to everyone. So anyway, thank you everyone for being here today. Please share the broadcast. We can wind down with Nancy. I'm a business coach to creative entrepreneurs. That includes interior designers. I'm so happy to have gotten to know Veronica today. We will definitely be seeing more of each other and communicating more. And hopefully, if you're able to go to Vegas, I'm going to be in Vegas.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking I might be going to Vegas, right?
The end of July. Maybe we can have a little coach consortium or something. So thank you all for watching. I will see you next week on Weekend Wind Down with Nancy here on my business page. So remember, it's always here on my business page now. And if you would like to be a guest and you have something to share to my audience, just private message me and we'll get you on the schedule. So thank you, Veronica. I will definitely talk to you soon.
Okay. Thanks, Nancy. Have a great weekend.
All right. You too. Bye, guys.